Hey, what's up guys? My name's Josh Winiarski, and it's story time. So do what you gotta do, kick off your shoes, curl up in your favorite chair, get a big old bag of buttery popcorn, cause I want you to get real cozy. Cause today, old Grandpa Josh is gonna tell you the tragic tale of how he destroyed a $1,000 camera. Oh, and if at any point during the story you wanna click on some ads, maybe use my affiliate links to buy something out of sympathy, let's just say I'm not gonna stop you, cause this one hurt. Now I want to preface this by saying there's no personal satisfaction I get from breaking things. I'm a college student, which inherently means my personal funds are relatively low. That being said, I've never been one to shy away from risk, especially if there's a potentially big payoff. Allow me to explain. So this entire fiasco started over a month ago with this video. Now there's nothing particularly special about it. It's not my worst video, it's not my best video. But one thing that made this one particularly entertaining is that smack dab in the middle of filming, I got caught in a snowstorm. And that's no exaggeration, it was legitimately the biggest snowstorm to hit Seattle in years. I started to get a little worried as the snowstorm grew stronger, and as you'll see in the video, I did switch to my phone towards the end, just to play it safe. But my phone did die towards the end, so I switched back to the DSLR just to get the last few clips, and my camera definitely took a lashing from the elements. But no worries, the Canon 80D is weather sealed, I dried it off, put it in my bag, and dried it off more when I got home. But man, that snowstorm just got worse and worse. Class got canceled on Friday and the following Monday and Tuesday, so in total I had 5 days off during this winter apocalypse. And come on, with weather this crazy, there's no way I was gonna pass up the chance to get some banger winter Instagram photos, you know? Class was canceled, the city was blanketed in snow and ice, it was a photography wonderland. From skiers and snowboarders around campus to the frigid scenery around town, I was slowly mutating into a little bit of an ice age addict. And the worse the conditions got, the more eager I was to go out and shoot. Literally loving this weather for snow pictures, but I'm kind of trapped here now. There's so much snow. Now, to my disappointment, Tuesday's forecast showed the weather shifting back to normal, so I knew I had one more shot, one more chance, one more opportunity to nail any photos I wanted before the winter snowstorm was gone for good. So I packed my bag one last time, and I took off. So I went downtown as normal, grabbed some of the shots I wanted, but as I was finishing up, I noticed something a little bit scary. Instead of nice snowfall, it began to shift into heaping wet globs of rain. I almost went home. It would have been so easy to just call it a night, head home, and just edit the photos I had. But there was one last shot I wanted. One last shot that I've already taken before, but I just knew it would look better at night in the snow. With the rain falling, I knew that if I didn't get the shot now, I wouldn't get another chance. So naturally, I went for it. Now I wasn't stupid. As soon as my gear started to get wet, I threw my trusty plastic bag over it to prevent it from getting absolutely drenched. And when I got to my spot, I ended up taking photos for around 30 minutes until I got one I was happy with, and then I went home. Now, everything seemed fine. I'd got the shot I wanted, my gear was still functional, it was wet, but it wasn't too wet, or so I thought. But when I unzipped my bag in the comfort of my dorm room, it dawned on me that my gear was pretty wet. Like, significantly more than I thought it'd gotten. Again, I like to think I'm not an idiot. As soon as I saw that, I got paper towel. Okay, it sounds dumb when I say it like that. But really, I just grabbed, paper towels. I think I had like a dish rag that wasn't too dirty. And I started drying off my gear as much as possible. And when I was done, I just put them back in my camera bag where it sat for the next 24 hours. By the same time tomorrow, I'd already edited one of the pictures, grabbed some likes, gained a few followers. All was good, so I casually just unzipped my camera bag. I think I honestly just wanted to hold my camera and take a few pics around the room. I don't remember why I unzipped it, but sometimes that's something I do. I just take a few pics around my room. But when I unzipped the bag, lifted up the front, reached in, what I grabbed wasn't a Canon 80D. It was something cold and really wet. To this day, I really don't know what happened. I don't know if water from the outside of my bag had just seeped in overnight, or like the moisture from a wet glove had like evaporated into the air in the bag. Truthfully, I have no idea where all this moisture came from or if it caused this catastrophe. But when I grabbed my camera 24 hours later, it was like really wet. Again, the night before I dried off, I thought all my gear. But that next day, like the inside of my bag was just damp and wet. All of my gear included. Maybe a wet coat had dripped onto it overnight. I really don't know. But as soon as I flipped that switch, my camera came to life. I knew I'd messed up. I went to take a test photo, realized, oh, my timer's still on from the night before. Pressed the Q button once, twice, 3 times. It wasn't working. All of a sudden I noticed some buttons were working, others weren't. The autofocus started moving on its own. And I realized the only way to stop this madness was to just yank out the batteries. And then I chucked that thing in a bag of rice. Well, I didn't like chuck it, but I grabbed it quickly, put rice in a Ziploc. And this is when I knew I messed up. Naturally, I began Googling things, finding all the horror stories, a few ones of miracles. But I was genuinely like, oh, and while my camera was in urgent care, I continued to read stories, and then I started throwing my lenses in bags of rice because I just did not want this to get any worse. It is a sad, sad day when all your gear is in bags and just up here drying. The plan was to wait like a week and then test everything to see if it worked, but something inside of me said that was stupid, so I went online, found a camera shop in Seattle, shot him an email, got a reply, brought the camera in the next day, and waited. Alright, just about to the camera shop. Gonna drop this bad boy off and fingers crossed. About a week and a half later, I got an email back saying the camera was damaged, it would need to be repaired, but it was salvageable. They quoted me a hefty bill of a few $100s, which hurt, but to be honest, I was at the point where I was just so glad I wouldn't have to buy a new one because it's an $1,000 body. And I don't know, to put this in perspective, it's almost like getting in a car accident when you think about it. I know it's not as much, but I'm thinking like proportionally. It was a big hit, let's leave it that way, if it was the full 1,000. But after it was all said and done, I couldn't help but ask myself the question, was it worth it? Was that shot worth the damage? Interesting enough, that exact shot, the one that almost ruined my camera, is the most liked photo I've ever posted to Instagram. In fact, it was my first photo to ever get featured by another account, and a few days after posting it, I got invited to a Seattle art show because someone said they liked my Instagram account. It all could have been luck, it all could have been a coincidence, but that is 100% true. But I'm trying to think of this from a neutral point of view, because yes, that could have happened with any photo. So, because it could have happened with any photo, I think the question I should have asked myself, is photography worth that much money to me? You see, to capture the best content, there's always going to be some inherent risk. Whether you're in a snowstorm, or you're crossing a stream, or you're biking and vlogging, there's an extremely fine and blurry line between risk and recklessness. This particular shot wasn't worth the bill to me, but the culmination of every great shot I've ever taken is. After this experience, I'm definitely going to be more careful, especially around water. But how can you ever expect to get the best videos, the best photos, to make it as a content creator if you're not willing to get the shots no one else has by being a tad risky? If you're not willing to potentially get your gear even a little wet or potentially knock it against like a rock while climbing, then how am I going to capture great landscape photos? Again, it's a razor thin line between being risky and stupid, but when I think of all the best shots, all my favorite shots I've taken, I got them because I grabbed my camera. I didn't grab my phone out of my back pocket. I took something that's not really made for the elements to capture the elements. When I think of all the incredible shots I've gotten by being a little bit risky, I know I'd regret not taking those shots more than my few $100s. My gear is gonna come and go regardless. It's a tool, but those memories, those moments, those things that you capture with it, those are gonna last a lifetime, and that's why I love photography so freaking much. I've never been the type of guy to collect things, to buy an old vintage sports car and just leave it under a tarp. And likewise, I don't buy nice photography gear to shoot around in my room or in a perfect studio. I want to get out, I want to explore, and I want to capture that stuff to the best of my ability. And you know, if once every couple years I make a big mistake and it costs me some money, oh well, it's money. So, moral of the story, always try to keep in mind if something is risky or stupid, and remember, a weather-sealed camera is about as reliable as a water-resistant phone. Your buddy might go swimming with his, but that doesn't mean yours won't short-circuit from having a glass of water spilled on it for a second. Anyways, thanks so much for listening. I know not everyone's gonna agree with what I have to say, but this is how I feel, this is what photography is to me. Anyways, thanks so much for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my experience, and again, you know, if you wanna check out my Instagram or use my affiliate links, cause I'm kinda brokish now, I won't stop you. Anyways, thank you one more time for listening. If you liked the video, be sure to like it. If you have an experience like this or you just want to make fun of me, let me know in the comment section down below. But I'd love to hear your stories and thoughts on the topic. And now that I've got my camera back, I'll start to upload consistently again. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Hi, I'm here to pick up a Canon 80D repair.
Okay, what name?
Josh
Last name?
Winiarski.